So I received a few interesting comments on my Proud to be Single video. These included a few suggestions to see a prostitute. I responded to those comments by saying that I have too much self-respect to see a prostitute. Because of comments like these as well as others, I feel the need to talk more about this and give my thoughts on prostitution, sex, and relationships. Let me start things off by saying that I think that prostitution should be completely legal. It seems crazy to me that it's illegal to sell something that's perfectly legal to give for free. Consensual sex is legal, but the moment you introduce money into the picture, it becomes a crime. The phrase, her body, her choice, makes sense in this situation. If someone wants to choose to sell their own bodies, and someone wants to buy sex from them, then that should be their own business. Having said that, just because I feel it should be legal does not mean that I want to partake in it. The idea of someone having to pay someone else to have sex with them is pathetic. Think about it. Both the man and the woman are getting sex out of the deal, but she is getting money on top of that, while he is losing money. In other words, sex with her is worth something, but sex with him isn't. He's doing it with her because he really wants to, but in her case, she's only doing it with him because he paid her. That's not good enough for me. If I'm going to have sex, then if anything, she should want it more than me. That is why I personally have too much self-respect to see a prostitute. And I can't believe those people out there who say, prostitution is degrading to women. No, it's not. First of all, it's up to the individual person to decide what is or isn't degrading to themselves. And second of all, she's getting sex and money. But if you're going to say it's degrading to anybody, then if anything, it's degrading for men because they have to pay a woman to have sex with them. We seem to live in a society where women have all the sexual power, and they can take it away or give it away however they see fit. But they don't have this power over me. Now, I don't know if this happens a lot in real life. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it did. But on TV shows and movies, if a woman wants to punish her man for something, and there's always something, by the way, she'll say that she'll refuse to have sex with him. When I was growing up, I would see this on TV a lot, which is one of the many reasons I avoid TV today like the plague. It bothered me even back then because whenever a woman did this, the man would do whatever it took to get her to have sex again, as if that's all men want. And in the very rare instance a man ever tried to do this very same thing on his wife, she would just laugh in his face. This kind of crap would be on TV shows like Step by Step and The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Philip, baby, if Mr. Goodwrench wants to visit Mrs. Toolbox, you better get Mr. Water running.
I would love to just see the man respond to that by laughing in her face. Can you imagine the outrage if you reversed the genders? Imagine if Uncle Phil said to Vivian, if Mrs. Toolbox wants a visit from Mr. Goodwrench, she'd better have the laundry done. That would come off as sexist, but not this though. Not only is depriving a man of sex supposed to be a form of punishment, but sex is also used as a gift, or a reward that a man has to earn from the woman.
I'm gonna have to make this up to you. I will. I am going to cook you anything you want in here. And I'm going to do anything you want in there.
And you and I will have the whole house to ourselves. All night long. That's my present to you.
Yeah, let's see a man try to get away with that. That's the worst gift I've ever heard. If a woman offered me sex as a gift, I would be insulted. First of all, this is your wife. Aren't you doing it on a somewhat regular basis anyway? Second of all, how can you be content with the fact that you are having sex with a woman who is only doing it with you because it's your birthday? Is she really that full of herself that she thinks sex from her is a gift and a favor to you? She may not even really be in the mood to have sex and is thinking the whole time, oh, I guess I'll have to do it with him, seeing as how it's his birthday and all. No, if that was me, I'd say, if you don't feel like having sex, don't do it. Don't think you're doing me any favors. And finally, I guess the man is supposed to be thrilled that the woman is offering such a quote-unquote gift. But can you imagine a man trying to get away with doing the same thing? Imagine the wife's reaction if her husband offered to have sex with her for her birthday. Her reaction would probably be something along the lines of, Man, what an ego you have. Sex from my own husband? A gift? Somebody was too cheap to buy me a real present. Looks like somebody's sleeping on the couch tonight. Now, in my Proud to be Single video, I talked about the fact that I've never been in a relationship. I really don't see myself in a relationship, nor do I desire to be in one. But let me make something clear. I'm not saying that no relationship can work for anybody. They're just not for me. And I can't help but feel that a lot of people get together because they feel they have to, not because they really want to. I think that many people get to a certain age and think, well, I'm at that time in my life where I guess I'm supposed to be dating or getting married. So I guess we'll start dating or getting engaged because it's about that time for both of us. But I feel no such obligation. I am perfectly happy being single. The only way I might consider a relationship is if 1. The woman takes the initiative and shows she is interested in me. 2. I get along with her. And 3. I don't have to be all chivalrous, but rather treat her with the same amount of respect that she's showing me. Which by today's standards, not being chivalrous means you're being rude. But it's so unlikely that any of those 3 conditions will be met, let alone all 3 of them. In any event, I have no desire to stop being single. Just like I would never see a prostitute, I would also never go on a traditional date for the very same reasons. Let me ask you a question. What does the man get out of a date that the woman doesn't? In other words, what's in it for him? On the date, they're both having dinner, both seeing a movie that she most likely picked. Both are out doing the same things, but only the woman has her doors open for her chairs pulled and pushed for her. She gets picked up at her place and gets a free ride, while the man has to be her chauffeur and drive her in his own car, which uses gas that he paid for. And all expenses during the date, the dinner, the movies, and so on, are all paid for by the man, while it's all free for her. So I ask again, what does the man get out of this? And I don't want to hear none of this, he's getting to spend time with someone he likes. Yeah, and so is she. So far, the woman has the better end of the deal. Everything is free for her, while the man has to pay twice as much. Many people say, sex. That's what's in it for him if he plays his cards right. I have several problems with that statement. First of all, it implies that sex is the only thing that men are after, and women have no interest in that. Second of all, even if the man does have sex with her, then that naturally means that she is also having sex with him. Sex is something they are both getting, not just the man. So the woman is still getting the better end of the deal. Third of all, sex is being used as a reward that the man has to earn. Like once she decides he's earned it by taking her out on enough dates. And finally, if that's the case, then how would dating be any different than prostitution? Oh, I know. Instead of paying the money up front and getting right down to guaranteed sex, like you would with a prostitute, you are paying the woman in the form of dinners, movie tickets, and time for the chance, just the possibility, at eventual sex.
Let me tell you something. What I do is no different from what every other woman winds up doing.
It's a lot different.
Most women don't sell their bodies, Lauren.
Like heck they don't.
They just sell it for high-priced dinners, theater tickets, mink coat, and maybe even a wedding ring. All I'm doing is taking mine up front and in cash.
I always try to avoid this whenever I possibly can, but whenever I'm in a situation where I'm having lunch with a couple, not only do I feel like a third wheel, but I've noticed something that happens every single time. It's always the man hugging the woman and pecking her on the cheek, and the woman has literally no reaction. She doesn't peck him back or anything. She literally continues to sit there and doesn't even turn her head. It's as if nothing happened. Stuff like that really gets on my nerves. So he's supposed to show her playful affection, but she doesn't even so much as acknowledge it, let alone return it. Personally, I'd rather nobody do that stuff while they're sitting at the same table as me, but the least she can do is have some sort of reaction and acknowledge his presence. Alright people, that's about all I have to say on the subject of prostitution, sex, and relationships. Speaking of relationships, I have quite a bit to say about marriage, but that'll have to wait for another time. First of all, this is your wife. Aren't you having sex on a somewhat regular basis anyway? Alright. Maybe not, but you'd think.
And you and I will have the whole house to ourselves all night long. That's my present to you.
What the hell kind of present is that? He now has her permission to have sex with her. Well, he seems happy about it. At least he can do it with her anytime he wants today.
Can I open my present now?
Tonight.
I know how men think. I'm not happy here. I'm not happy there. I'll be happy here.